All right, people. Sorry for that abrupt ending with the previous stream. Things don't always work as they should be. Guess something went wrong with the camera being disconnected. I don't know how many people will be back on the stream, but it is what it is. We don't cry about it. Let's hope that some people come back online with the stream, and maybe I can actually reply with some of the questions because some questions were not answered. So yeah, pardon my for my technological um, problems with the previous stream. Anyways, some people were commenting about the gaming setup. So yeah, do have their PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But yeah, it's also a gaming setup. Hello, Mafui. Welcome back. This is stream part 2 because the first stream ended abruptly because some technical failures. It seems like my camera got disconnected because I was trying to show some parts of the sound system, and it seems the whole stream crashed with it. Hello, Aske. Nice to have you here. Hello, Churn Server Rocks. It's especially nice to have you back here because I kind of wanted to answer you and your question about Mythic Nerd thing. Now, overall, I would say, if I recall correctly, my sound system is roughly some 2,000 euros. So not exactly high end, not exactly low end, but pretty decent for, kind of a home use system. I hope that explains it. And like somebody was commenting, yeah, it's a gaming setup. I think I have tried to be clear with it that I'm a gamer. I've been since the early 80s. And that's why I've been through with so many generations of gaming consoles. And, nowadays it's PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. That's why I also do these gaming streams on Twitch every now and then, not daily, but I do them weekly, and I will include the link here as well. But yeah, anyway, that's the sound system I use to listen to music as well and review them, as well as, play games and watch TV shows and movies every now and then. I have another sound system in my living room, which is separate building here, and there I don't have this good sound system. I have relatively good speakers. They're probably even better than what I have here, but it's only frontal speakers versus surround system. So it's a little bit different setup over there. Screen over in my living room is a little bit bigger, but this TV screen over here is a little bit better technically because it's newer tech and it's OLED. LG's OLED TV versus older LCD television in my living room. Anyway, yeah, that's the nerd part of technology I'm using. So, what in essence you would see here if you came for a visit, you would see that over here I have a computer, like a real, desktop computer with a screen, microphone. Say hello to microphone. And obviously TV, sound system, a couple of gaming consoles, even some older ones like PS3, and I do have a tape player, but it's not connected to amplifier, so I don't know even if that tape player even works. So yeah, this is my man cave. I try not to move too much my camera now that you don't once again get disconnected, but there's a fireplace behind me. Lots of crap laying around. For example, here you see some of my review CDs. Um, you see some of my CD shelves, the fireplace, microphone once again. More CDs right there. And yeah, this baby here is my recliner where I sit when I play games. You see a couple of my guitars. One is right there, and another one is right there. Yeah, this is a small fireplace room, if you will, which acts as my man cave as well as my office, my home office, because I work from home, remotely more than 10 years now. So, in case I missed some of the questions before or my stream crashed down, please do me a favor and ask them again. I will be here for roughly an hour at max. But in case there are not enough people, not enough questions, I will just go away earlier. But to go back to your questions and comments, uh, Dede is asking like, what do I think is the most twisted and dark metal album? He's saying Clandestine Blaze, Deliverers of Faith. Well, it depends how you define what is twisted and dark. I find some of the most twisted and dark black metal albums to be around Dark Thrones, Transylvanian Hunger, and Under a Funeral Moon. I would say they definitely surpass anything that Clandestine Blaze have released, even though I do like Clandestine Blaze as well. But depends how you define what is twisted in your mind. Like these are individual experiences in so many ways. Some people certainly feel that album X is the darkest and most sinister album for them, and the other person might say totally something different. But yeah, I guess in so many ways, Dark Throne for me is the kind of a apex moment of black metal when it comes to being really dark, raw, and atmospheric in a very, very twisted ways. Yeah, General Rocks, you would be, or maybe you wouldn't be surprised how many Finnish black metal people are actually quite nerdy. And by nerdy, I mean, not only because they love Tolkien, but also because they love fantasy role playing games and, fantasy movies, books, series, games, things like that. I remember having this chat about role playing games with Satanic War Master himself already in the late 90s. So these go all the way back. Actually, I remember also having talk with Shadraug from Horna already in the 90s, like while there are orcs mentioned in the early Horna releases and stuff like that. So things like that are very much part of the whole black metal movement, whether we not like it or not. I mean, there are bands like Imbel Nazarene, which probably had nothing to do with Tolkien or Dungeons and Dragons. But if you really think about it, bands like Gorgoroth, Burzum, Horna, Summoning, bands like that, they have this strong Tolkien connection. Bands like Burzum and Gorgoroth are kind of obvious. They take their name from Tolkien books. Horna guys definitely are tapping to the vein of old role-playing games and Tolkien books, and obviously Summoning having kind of a career dedicated to Tolkien worship, and much like the big part of second wave black metal. And by second wave, I mean from the very early years of 1990s. That kind of paved the way for the whole second wave black metal. It was more or less built upon what, fantasy literature, much like Tolkien, but not limited to that, we're building. Now, early on, bands like Bathory or Celtic Frost or Venom, they were not tapping so much into Tolkien kind of things. That was more about having Satan or Satanistic ideas being there, anti-Christian, renouncing God, etc., etc. But by the time 1990s came and people around my age, and people around my age are the people like from Satyricon or Emperor, bands like that, people born in mid or late 70s. For example, Isan is actually like couple of months older, younger than me. Satyra, I think, is roughly maybe a couple of months older than me, but anyway, same year. So what I'm talking about is entire generation of people doing black metal. They're very much coming from the similar background as me. For a long time, not that long time nowadays, thinking about back in the days, I thought I was the weirdo guy playing role playing games and having my interest in fantasy literature and games like that and movies and whatever. And I thought for a long time that I was this weird kid who liked that and black metal and death metal and stuff like that. But it didn't take too much time to figure out like everybody else is the same, and it doesn't even it's not even limited to living in Finland. Like suddenly I found out that these other black metal people coming from Finland, they're much like me. Some are older, some are younger, and they share the same kind of interests: role playing games, Satanism, spiritual worlds, and anti Christianity, and things like that. And then I found out it also happens, beyond the borders. People from Sweden, people from Norway, people all around from the world. Suddenly, the dots are being connected. So it's quite interesting that what I thought was to be unusual was actually the common ground that people like me who were spending their teenage years or years of youth with role playing games and reading fantasy books or whatever, and diving mentally into these worlds of fantasy, of dragons and swords and magic and devils and demons and all that crazy stuff. Suddenly it was the normal thing. That's how the whole generation of black metal was basically born. And I think Burzum is one grand example of that. I mean, not only he took the brand name from Tolkien, but also his infamous name, Count Krishnak. So suddenly it was like, so everybody else is exactly like me. Bunch of fucking nerds liking books about fantasy creatures, orcs, dragons, sorcerers, wizards. Boo! Do some spells, man. And also metal music. So connect the fucking dots. It's all the same thing. Black metal is built largely by a bunch of nerdy people, like it or not. And then some churches got burned, people got killed. So go figure. Okay, going back back to the back scroll to about the question. Mafu was asking where is a traditional sauna, Finnish sauna. I would actually show you the sauna in the building, but I can't because the doorway is now blocked. Our sauna is going in under renovation, and it won't be ready until a few weeks later. Maybe someday I will do some kind of a sauna stream. Would you like a sauna stream? I wouldn't be naked, of course. YouTube wouldn't allow that. You wouldn't want to see me hanging my dick there. But otherwise, sauna stream can be done if I just, set up my phone and start streaming. I could totally do that. It's possible. If you want, I can do a sauna stream. Maybe in November, for example. Or maybe December. I don't know. What else? JKD was asking, did I score an interview with Mikko? I mean, I guess you're talking about Mikko Aspa. No, that's still um, being in works. Let's hope that it plays. Jonsared Rocks is asking, do I play in a band? I play in a couple of bands called Annihilatus and Nightside. I will link. There's the reply. Hello, Emil Baranovsky. Hello, welcome to the stream. Pim is asking, when does the interview with Satanic Warmaster come out? Let me see. Havukruunu will be next one in a couple of weeks. Malignment came out today. Havukruunu is coming out in a couple of weeks, and I think Satanic Warmaster Part 2 is coming 2 weeks after that. So I would say Satanic Warmaster is coming out in a month. Do I know Gontuna Cry or Gontuna Cry? Yes, I have reviewed at least one album by them on Rauta as well. Shepkin is asking, do I listen to music every day? I am trying to listen to music every day, and I pretty much can do it, but on weekends, I don't listen to music as much as on weekdays. Yes, Yil La Abigor is also one good example of Tolkien-based bands, and then there are bands like Azaghal and etc. who have taken the name from Tolkien as well. Shepkin, yes, I'm a young pup. I am so young and fresh and beautiful and all that stuff. Where my group is. Johnson Red, no, I'm not a collector. I decided give up collecting things about, say, 20 years ago. I used to be an avid comic books collector. I used to collect and read a lot of Marvel comics back in the day. But no, I decided not to collect anything after that when I was finished. So I only have something like between 650, 700 CDs or so. And I don't plan to grow it. I actually try to get rid of CDs, but actually I'm kind of growing it unintentionally because I keep the better ones I review for myself. If I had kept all the review CDs and vinyl and tapes I have ever gotten, my collection would be something like 6 to 7 thousand copies, and I could never fit them anywhere. So I decided not to collect anything at all. I keep only the best ones, and I don't keep anything under 8 out of 10 unless it's a really special thing like a friend's band or something. So yeah, I am not a collector. I don't want to be a collector. That's taking too much space, and I don't have a need for albums that are like 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, because I don't want to go back to them. Anyway, I'm kept way too busy by review albums anyway. Shepkin said the Bergam had a big impact on black metal in a lot of Finnish sound, definitely. Jarmo Zira is asking, sauna panels vertical or horizontal? I don't know. Actually, the new panels have not been installed yet, so I don't really know how they're gonna be. We will see. We will find out. By the way, morjes vaan Jarno. Hauska nähdä sinuakin täällä. What else? Gore is asking, can I survive all these weekends without sauna? Yes, I can. I'm not that avid sauna goer. For me, it's more like a once a month kind of a thing, once 2 months. But yeah, sometimes I can really do sauna like 1 week after another, stuff like that. Sauna is very relaxing and stuff like that, but I don't go to sauna so much alone. For me, it's kind of a social thing, go to sauna with friends and all that stuff. Female Rauta fans, watch out. I don't know. I don't think there are really female Rauta fans. Mored Hell, you mean as a band or a person? Emil Baranowski is asking, where's my cup of Halloween blood instead of whiskey or beer? Well, I haven't gotten any of those groupies to get the blood, so there is no blood. No groupies, no blood. Very, very simple. Gingerbread Rocks is asking, am I bald or do I shave? Well, take a look at this head close by, and you will see there's this line. This part shaved, this one no hair. So I'm shaving on a weekly basis. To a live IQ test. I will give IQ result of 15. Moon TV FI. This stream is not going to be scary unless my talks are scary. I don't know why Moon TV FI is watching this stream or even commenting it. Eric Oj is asking, do I know any good Finnish horror movies? No, I don't. Olfert Gully is, am I familiar with the Finnish publisher Ixaksar? Yes, I am actually. My pal used to run it with his back then girlfriend or whatever it's called, spouse. And I know that they released some occult books, but I never bought them. Oh, they're overpriced. Okay. Yeah, anyway, Ixaksar was run by the guy from Warloghe. So I don't know how it is run nowadays. If it's run the Warloghe's ex-spouse or by him, I don't really know. Yeah, Yoni, being a reviewing is just too much music to listen. That's very, very true. What else? Favorite Russian black metal band? I don't know if I have a favorite Russian black metal band. There might be something I really don't remember, but I really can't remember. Do I like funk or deathcore? Not really. Matt Gore, you're very right. It's sad that groupies are a bunch of dudes. No, personally, it doesn't really matter. I mean, doesn't really matter who I get to drink beers with, who I got to talk with. Is the gender really an issue? I don't think it is. Actually, to be honest, most of the time when I go to talk with people around festivals and all that stuff, it's guys. Do I complain? No. Now, would I like to hang out with some cool girls? Sure, why not? But, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Moon TV is commenting, I have to share a photo of myself 15 years ago. If I only had one here right now, I would share it. Maybe I will share it on the Facebook page later on. Favorite band from Poland? I think it would be Mgła and Graveland. Pim is asking how I heard the new Antichrist Siege Machine. I have not. And hello, Emil Baranowski. Didn't know if you're London. If I ever come to London again, which I plan to do, let's go for a beer. Yeah, and Yrdi mentioned Kuutomo Sonatti being one of those recommended Finnish horror movies. So many people have been actually recommending that movie to me. I have never seen it, but people say it's a good Finnish horror movie. So I guess people should check it out. This is a very interesting question from Theon. How do I feel about the more negative philosophers, like, for example, nihilism projected by bands like Mgła and Sacramentum, or the more depressive themes conveyed by some black metal bands? Well, I just happen to be a fan of nihilism and more negative philosophers like Arthur Schopenhauer. The thing here is, being a very positive and optimistic person, I don't find those negative or pessimistic philosophers to be that bad. The thing here is, I actually find them quite comforting. Like Arthur Schopenhauer basically said that when a creature or person dies, that person ceases to exist, And how can we be sorry for something that doesn't even exist anymore because it's basically like before his or her birth? So is it that negative after all? And nihilism, I find it also comforting. Think about that in this whole vast galaxy, the space, the universe, that this is just one more ball called Earth, and we live on this ball. And no matter how horrible things happen on Earth, be it Holocaust or people killing each other because of war or whatever, in the cosmos level, nobody gives a flying fuck. The thing here is, we're meaningless. Our lives are meaningless in the universal level. Now, that can be seen as a positive thing. That is like, so no matter what do you do, our sun will die, and eventually everybody on Earth will die as well. Now, the positive thing here is, because there is maybe not so much like things like afterlife or life after death or whatever. Maybe there is no God. I don't think there is. You can just pretty much focus on the things at hand. That is, focus on your friends, focus on good stuff in your life. Be it music, be it movies, be it your girlfriend, boyfriend, sex with a stranger, be it a good booze, some good whiskey bottle, be it your smartphone where you just check out your Facebook, whatever gives you the kicks, whatever gives you the meaning in life, that shall be the thing. Whatever makes you fucking happy. If wanking 10 times a day makes you a happy person, go do it. If lifting heavy weight makes you happy, do it. If eating a lot of burgers make you happy, if listening to Graveland or Burzum all day makes you happy, just fucking do it. Because on the universal level, nothing else fucking matters. You're gonna die. Everybody you love gonna die. The bands you love are gonna stop to exist at some point. So make your life worthwhile and enjoyable while you are alive. That's I find comforting. So it doesn't really matter what happens in next 1,000 years. You're not gonna see it anyway. You're gonna be dead way before it happens. So focus on the good stuff. If you can build better future for your kids, for your family, for your friends, or for your fucking pets, do it. That's my life advice. Very simple. That's why I'm a happy person. I focus my time on good stuff. Friends, family, music, lifting weights, movies, gaming, doing these streams with you people. Why I spend my time virtually with you is because I get something out of it, and I hope that you get something out of it. And if I don't, I will just stop doing these kind of streams. But while I'm enjoying them and having a little bit of whiskey, why the fuck not? So focus on the good stuff. So negative philosophers can be actually really, really positive thing in your life if you just let them happen. Guy Nonida is asking cognac. I'm not really a cognac person, but I know some good cognacs can be enjoyed with some coffee. How I played Zelda, asking Shefkin. I played only one Zelda game, the Breath of the Wild, which is still unfinished on my Nintendo Switch, but I plan to continue it when I'm traveling. It's been a fun game, but not so captivating as some other games on PS5 or Xbox Series X. Have I ever met Lord War Thorek? He's asking by Hell Dweller. I have met him in the past, but not since past 15, 20 years. And how well I do know Werewolf? Well, I don't say that I know him so well that I have been visiting his house or home ever, but we've known each other for past 20 years plus. So I guess we're kind of pals. We know each other relatively well on the surface level anyway. But it's not like we go to mutual travels and things like that. Thoughts of Agast, music and recent happenings. Well, it's sorry that she died because of the attack, and I remember her music being cool, but I never got to listen to Agast properly. Ginger Rocks is asking, am I married? Yes, I'm married, and I'm still allowed to have groupies. How cool is that? Um, Dawson is giving me a nice compliment that if I grow your hair back long, I will look like a Hulk Hogan. I don't have the mustache to do like Hulk Hogan. Not that I'm too muscular to look like Hulk Hogan. Um, Gram Alarabi is asking, making a good joke about Alec Baldwin tragic events shooting a person. Like, bad joke of the day. Alec Baldwin misunderstood the director when he shouted, "No, shoot the crow too." But Shepkin, what the fuck is trans metal? Dawson is asking, do I like Graveland, early Graveland, later era? Definitely early Graveland. What else? What is multi-live, Yoni? Please elaborate on that. Victor, nice to know that you find Morgul through me. I hope to bring you some news on Morgul. There's at least mini interview coming out later on. I haven't heard of Vothana and Atis, but I have read about Vothana and it seems like a fucking joke to me. Sorry. Shepkin is asking, are Finnish girls picky? I think they are. And hello, Alex, my Irish friend. Nice to have you here on stream. How are you doing, you sorry Irish prick? What else? Pim is asking me if there's any band I would like to see. Which one would it be? I would like to see, like live. Pink Floyd, Bathory, Burzum, Death. Never gonna see any of those bands, but they're the ones. What else? I pretty much seen all my favorite bands that are doing gigs. I mean, bands like Dark Throne and Ball Thrower and Morbid Angel and what else? There are probably a lot of bands that I haven't seen, which I would like to see, but I think I've seen most of them. Bands like Emwa, bands like Nile, Origin. That's a band I've never seen and I fucking love it. But yeah, most of the bands I really like, I've seen already. And yeah, Satanic Warmaster is cool live band. Seen them a few times. Paratrum is also a good live band. I strongly recommend seeing. Goring is asking if I listen to any Blazebird Hole bands. I've listened to some of them, but nowadays most of my time is going to doing review albums. So I don't really get to listen to older bands like that. Ike, thank you for your comments regarding Philosopher comment. Sepkin is asking, what are we meaningless in comparison to? Well, it depends. Basically everything. And Juan de Vera, +1 for the nihilism speech. Thank you. I'm not asking people to agree with me. That's totally fine. Like one thing which I really like in philosophy way more than in, say, politics is that people can really disagree with each other on philosophy. And it can still make a hell of a conversation. Like sometimes you can talk about existentialism, we can really ponder different angles, whether we like these or that kind of ideas. And we can really just, totally disagree. And still, it's a great conversation. We have beers, we have these different kind of ideas, and we can just, go back and forth with it and go home with, happy minds, even enlightened minds. So, in my opinion, philosophy is one of the best things in life. And that's why I like to talk about philosophy. But I get it. Not everybody wants to go deep in philosophy. It can be kind of a mind bending, and it can also kind of, distract you from whatever you're doing. Sometimes you just want to watch a movie. Sometimes you want to just talk sweet talk to your girlfriend. Maybe have sex. Maybe it's just make good food and all that stuff. So philosophy is not just something that you might enjoy like that. But when there is space and time for philosophy, it can make great results, make you eye-opening experience, whether it's about reading about philosophical thoughts, thinking them in the mid of night, or maybe having a conversation with your best friend. Who knows? Sometimes you might end up in good philosophical conversations just with a stranger in a bar, and that's what I really like about it. You never know when philosophy is coming your way, and you might be like, "Boom! That's some great stuff." Have I heard the new Dievel album? I don't think I have actually. Or let me see. Let me see. I have one album which might be that, but I have to check it out. Oh yeah, Djevel, Tanker som rir natten. Yeah, that was a good album. I was hoping to get it for review when it came out during the spring, but never got it. What else? Shevkin saying that Zelda Majora's Mask is the most black metal Zelda game. Well, gotta give it a go. Then again, I don't really expect games to be black metal anyway. Nice to hear about Inquisition, John Jared Rocks. I think the controversy about Dagon and the child porn accusation was pretty much dealt with. I mean, he's not guilty as a sex offender, so I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, he is legally dealt with, and he's not, you know, considered to be sex offender. So I don't know why I would be offending him instead, or why people are doing that. Is it because they don't trust legal system? And if they don't, do they know better? Do they have evidence? Do they have some information what we don't? I don't really understand what's going on in people's mind. I mean, of course, some people and some crimes obviously taint people with, a lot of what do you say, luggage. Like if you kill a person, obviously you're gonna be seen as a killer or a murderer for the rest of your life. Doesn't matter if you go to prison and get deal with it. But I think in a civilized society, we should understand there is a legal system for exactly this reason. For example, let's use Mr. Vikernes as a grand example. Yes, he committed a murder in a very, very heinous ways, a wild murder, killing Euronymous. But he was in prison for like, I don't know, 20 years for that. So should we still keep punishing him for that? I don't think we should. Shall we ever forgive him for, killing the main man of Mayhem? That's a different story. But legally, he has done his sentence, and that's the end of it. Same goes for Inquisition guy. He has dealt with the justice system, and that's it. If we're not legislators or lawyers or whatever, I mean, what really is there to say about it? If you are a lawyer, if you are part of this whatever heinous crime, well, then you should make a case for it. If not, then move on. Hello, Seven Blasphemy. How are you doing, man? I hope you're having a good night. Zepkin is saying trans metal is a new age metal genre with focus on social justice and gender acceptance. I think it sounds like a fake genre to begin with. I don't know why any kind of music should have social justice, gender acceptance music. It's up to each an individual band or artist to have this kind of a statement. Marco is asking, do I play in a band? I actually explained it already in a stream that I do play in a couple of bands, Nightside and Annihilators. Joni, yes, I could do participating in live to several people participating in live YouTube. Yeah, I could do that. Like on my channel. I actually planned to do that. That it would be nice to have a stream on Rauta where more people would, take part of the stream. and do that, like, I don't know, via Zoom or something. I have to take a look what it would require of me to do that. Dark Throne Live. Yeah, but yeah, Dark Throne Live. I saw when Nocturno Calto was playing with Satyricon in 2004 at Wacken. Satyricon was headlining, I think it was Saturday, and there was like 30 minutes of Dark Throne set. Yeah, obviously Fenris was not present, but since Nocturno Caldo was playing in Satyricon, and they were also playing some 30 minutes of Dark Throne songs, man, one of the best experiences ever seeing him, on stage. I was quite drunk, and I can still remember it was fucking great. And I bought a shirt, saying like Dark Throne Nocturnal Caldo 2004 Wacken, whatever. It's one of my favorite long sleeve shirts. Oh, thanks. Johnson Red Rocks already mentioned my bands to Marco. Yeah, Pim, I would like to see Origin live because I'm a big fan of the band, especially on John Longstreth being the drummer. I don't have a favorite Revenge album. That's what Animal Man Machine was asking me. I never got to be a real fan of the band. I think Revenge is kind of a too chaotic to really fit my bill well. I mean, short periods of time, Revenge, okay. Lengthier, nah, it gets boring. And Shepkin, I agree. Politics is like religion, really, really limiting. Religion can straight fuck off. Politics, I can give a chance, but I'm not really a fan of it. And about good and evil, I think they're man made concepts, so each and every individual can define good and evil different ways. Alex Rose is asking, what is a girlfriend? Really good question. There's so many ways I could answer that question, being sarcastic and all. But I guess girlfriend is a person you wanna have a romantic relationship with, hopefully with sex included. Hello, Van Nocturne. Nice to hear that you're having a highlight of the day with me, virtually as it may be. Oh, you got tested positive for COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you will be well. I hope that it won't be making too big of a trouble in your life. Be well, stay healthy, and all that stuff, and don't let the virus spread. Buongiorno, Raul Conte. No worry about being late. There is no such thing as late in the world of time, where time is a cyclical concept. You were in an ice cold hockey game. Okay, yeah, well, a lot of people like ice hockey. I'm not a big fan of that, but yeah. Terve, Andre. Do I like strategy games like Atlas Total War? In a certain degree, I like strategy games. Maybe more Civilization than anything about that. But yeah, I have a couple of Total War games waiting to be played. Oh, Vari has a YouTube channel up again. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good question. What Shepkin is asking, like, what really defines black metal genre these days in terms of instruments? Well, first of all, we obviously have to understand that metal music is basically made by guitars, drums, and, well, guitars, bass, and drums. That's pretty much of it, and vocals usually. Um, but when we're talking about instrumental music, like where you draw the line, if there is no presence of any kind of satanic or anti-Christian topics or certain kind of spiritual levels, occult and the like, is it really black metal? I mean, think like that. If you are a bunch of people doing a movie in Africa, for instance, but everybody is really white, can you really call it African movie as such? You get my idea. Like how much percentage of African culture you need to have in order to make it an African movie? Well, if they're all white, but coming from South Africa, it counts as an African movie, right? But does it really feel an African movie if they're all like white people coming from South Africa? Instead of, I don't know, at least half the people being black, maybe even more, maybe beyond the borders of South Africa. You get the idea. So, yeah, once again, you end up in this very, very philosophical question: how much meat you can put into a food before it kind of ends up being a real, meat food. For vegans, it's really simple, I guess. 0% meat and it's vegan. 1% meat and it's not vegan. I get it. But when it comes to different topics, it's not always like that. For example, alcohol drinks. You can drink a certain amount of alcohol and still drive a car, even though the amount of alcohol has to be really, really small amount. But it's not zero, like this vegan example. So where these goalposts are put, once again, depend on the context. So if you remove all the letters except one in, say, black metal, you can like one word, Satan, and then you do 60 minutes of music with that one word. Does it count as a black metal? Probably so. If the music is, well, black metal like music. But if you remove that one word and you still make the same music without that one word, is it black metal anymore? I don't know. It kind of gets tricky. So I get your question. I get your point, I think. And it's really up to the individual to define that as black metal or not as black metal. So once again, we're talking about philosophical topics. Okay, reading back scroll once again. And by the way, it's getting 15 to midnight, which means I have to go soon. Young Janet Rocks once gave a sticker with my band. Why did Fenris throw it on the ground? Shepkin, do you give candy on Halloween? I would give candy on Halloween if kids were banging on my door just because I have candy, but they're not people to do that. Voice of Steel by Nocturnal Mortem. I wouldn't say the best album past 15 years is that, but I get like some people have like it that. Hello, Naked Beekeeper. I like your name, by the way. That Naked Beekeeper. That's something I would like to see. Doesn't matter, man or woman, but Naked Beekeeper. That's a good name. And yeah, having a good night, actually. Hope you're having a good day as well. Raul Conte is asking me an interesting question. Am I surprised by Cincinnati Bengals and the Las Vegas Raiders? I haven't been really watching those teams. I've been actually watching just Patriots and Bucks. Have I ever seen a horror movie with Lordi? I haven't. And hello, Waldman. Welcome to the stream. You're a bit late in terms that I'm leaving in about 15 minutes, maybe in 10 minutes. But yeah. Himbel Nazarene guy trashing Lordi for being on the Eurovision. I get why that is happening. Adam Martin is asking interesting question. Has every underground genre pretty much become an absurd parody of itself? I don't think it has. I think underground scenes kind of shed its skin all over again. That means one generation after another, when the old blood goes out, new blood flows in. So I don't think it's like a parody, but it's easy to see when you get older. We have to always understand that when we get older, our own perspective changes. So what we see as a 20 years old is different than what we see as 30 years old versus what we see as 40 years old, and etc. So obviously, as 20 years old. So we're like, wow, these are really good people making really good music. By the 30s, we're like, yeah, I know this guy. I've been in the scene quite a while. And by 40, you're like, I've seen everything. Nothing's gonna surprise me more. And by 50, yeah, I'm fucking bored of it. Everything has been done. Nothing new will be done. And by the 60s, you don't give a fuck. I am just guessing. I'm not 60 years old. I'm just guessing. But people change, and by when people don't change in the core, but the age changes things. And obviously, you're not as surprised by certain things by the time you're 40 versus when you're 20. That obviously you will see, like, okay, these youngsters know jack shit. I noticed that was happening with Morgul. Now people were dissing Morgul because these was young guys. They don't know jack shit. But people who were younger than these Morgul guys back in the days were saying like fantastic things about Emperor or Dark Throne or Satyricon or whatever. Like, wow, these guys are so great. So what you're forgetting, not necessarily you right there, but people in general tend to forget, is that age is kind of a relative concept. Like when you're 20, you look up to these people who are 26, but when you're 30, you look down on the people who are 26 because you're older. You're really kind of a comparing experience level, so to speak. It's much like in these role-playing games I was referring to earlier when talking about Burzum or Gorgoroth or whatever. So when you're this first level character, like, yeah, I'm newbie to the world, I'm new to the scene, all the bands I see, all the logos I see, I don't know them. This is going to be a fantastic journey. And here is my sword. Here's my sword. I'm going to go on this journey and I'm going to beat these dragons and whatever. But I don't have the experience level now. And when you're level 20 veteran, you're like, I've seen them everything. I've seen all the bands in the world. I don't give a fuck anymore. Nobody makes good albums. I'm just going to drink this whiskey because fuck you. So it's all about perspective. Once again, when you're older, you become more cynical and you figure out you've seen it all, even though you haven't. But you're losing this naive grasp. And actually, there's a video coming out tomorrow about this very subject, that once you're kind of getting older, things changes. But that more about that tomorrow. All right. Let's get back to reading the back scroll before I am too late with it. Hello, old one. Yeah, I'm fine. How are you, man? Do I like Gehenna? I actually like the third album and Onwards, Malice and Onwards. The first two albums by Gehenna, not too great in my opinion. One doctor is asking question, what are the difference between Finnish and English grammar? There's a lot of differences. A lot. I'm not going to go through them here, but there's a lot. You really need to Google it up if you want to know more. Oh, somebody donated money. Thank you, Weirdo Williams. Thank you, truly. Nice to have somebody sharing their wealth. That will be delivered among me and the creator crew of Rauta. So thank you, Weirdo Williams, for your donation. Much appreciated. Okay, about 5 minutes, and your final questions. I'm trying to quickly get through the back scroll. Raul is following New York Giants. How are Giants doing? What era of Gorgoroth I like the best? Pre-Gaul era. Basically, the 3 or 4 first albums are the best. I kind of want to review them at some point as my classic albums. on the channel, but let's be honest about it. There are more important albums which I need to address first, but I will get to that later on. Cannibal Ritual, what kind of RBG stream would it be if I did a stream? Raul Kunde is asking what places in Finland you would recommend to visit. Definitely my home city, because Turku, where I live, is the oldest city in Finland, the capital of Finland. We have a beautiful archipelago. We have a castle. We have a medieval church. We actually have almost medieval part of the city which didn't get burned. So Turku definitely first, Helsinki second, and maybe Lapland or Saimaa area. It depends what you want to see, but Turku is a great place to start. Not because I live here, but because of the archipelago, the rather medieval basics of the city, because of the strong, long history. So definitely Turku and Helsinki would be the places to start with. Would I interview Gal? I actually tried to interview Gal 2 years ago when I was interviewing Mayhem, and I was supposed to do Gal's Vyrd interview as well. But because Attila was late, and by the time I was done with Attila, Gal actually had to do sound check. So Gal's Vyrd interview didn't happen, even though it was already agreed to do on the spot. Actually, I just basically went to the Gal and like, hello, Mr. Gal, would you mind doing an interview with me once you're done with your dinner? They were having dinner before the show. I just told him that I had to do Mayhem interview first, and if you're ready to do that, we could do both. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I kind of had to bail out. I mean, I didn't bail out, but because Attila was late, he was on the phone for a lot of time. And by the time I was finished with Attila, the Mayhem interview, which is on the channel, Gal had already gone. So I would definitely do a Gal interview, but yeah. And thank you, Chepkin. Very, very nice donation. Thank you very much. I don't know how the swipes work. It doesn't really show that thing here, but anyway, thanks. All right, nice to hear, Worldman. Cannibal Ritual is saying like whatever I feel like. Divinity Original Sin 2. Maybe at some point. Now I'm streaming on my Twitch account, so I don't want to spam too much Rauta channel with my gaming streams. So if people want to check it out, I will give my Twitch account name here. So you can follow me whenever you feel like streaming. Thank you, Chepkin. Now I got this donation, real 50 Nordisk kronor. Thank you very much. Thank you once again, Weirdo Williams, for your $10 and Shepkin for your Nordic kroners. That is very, very well appreciated. I'm not kind of used to these kind of donations. It feels kind of weird, but thank you, man. It feels nice. I will pass your donation info to the team, and they will get their share once YouTube actually sends the money this way. But yeah, role-playing streams could be done at some point, but now I'm in the middle of Far Cry 6. And whatever follows after that, it could be Deathloop or Demon Souls and Witcher 3 eventually. And Van Nocturne, don't worry about donating. Get yourself first healthy. These donations are totally volunteer, and that's why I don't, want to go begging for them. That's why I actually have this Patreon system that people can support channel with money. But don't worry about it. Of course, all your money helps. To be honest, this is something that I want to share before I go. Now, I've been planning to do a certain kind of a trip on my free time to some city, because now that COVID situation is so much better with vaccination and all that stuff, it seems like flights are safe to do, and I could actually travel to some other country, for instance. And I am figuring out where to go. Now, my first take would be Poland because it's relatively cheap to fly to Poland from my home city, and there are good bands in Poland. But the thing here is, I don't know how to contact lots of these bands, and if they would be around for the city I would be heading. And the second, what I would like to do is to travel to Oslo, Norway, or maybe Bergen, Norway, and to get some interviews done. Now, mind you, these are my vacation trips. So if and when I am able to pull them off, say a long weekend, like Friday through Sunday, I am not guaranteed that I could do some interviews, but I would like to. And if so, yeah, Rauta money could be used for that kind of a thing. Now, so far, I've been saving this kind of a Patreon money that you people, some of the donators, have been, well, donating to the channel. And this money is used to cover some travel expenses when if and when I get those interviews done. Obviously, the money won't be spent on my private vacation trips, obviously. But if and when me and possibly the camera crew, one person, is coming with me, those that money could be used on those plane tickets and stuff like that. So I don't know. I have been planning to do certain kind of a trips with because their flight tickets are relatively cheap. So I'm planning what to do, and of course, people like you are free to suggest me where to go and which bands to interview. And should those bands be up for interview, well, let's fucking do it. But given that it's almost, well, November, I don't know if it makes sense for me to travel to places like, I don't know, Norway already this year, or should I wait for 2021? 2022. But let's see. I have, for example, one contact who has played in Norwegian bands, and I'm trying to figure out if I could do, a little bit like, hey, could you help me out with these kind of interviews? And then it would make sense for me to travel to Oslo. Because to be honest, I am not interested to travel to Oslo just for free time. I would rather go to Oslo when I have some bands to interview there. But for Poland, I could just travel for free time. But obviously, it would be way more fun to do that if I could just get some interview done anyway while being there. So once again, if you do have some recommendation to travel to certain country and to do an interview, please let me know. It doesn't have to be on the stream. You can always send me email. You will find my email address on Rauta's YouTube page. You can also send me comments or questions via my Instagram, or you can send on Rauta's Facebook page. And if you find my real name on Facebook, you can always use personal Facebook account to send me message as well. So you can use multiple ways to reach me and get these interviews done. Now, that's pretty much the advice I can give for you. And I hope that you will give me some good ideas where to go, which band to interview. And I will figure out the rest, like if that kind of a trip is possible and all that stuff. But now it seems like we're past midnight. I think it's time for me to head to bed. I will answer your final questions before I am going to bed because early time anyway. So, final questions. What else? Raul Kunti is asking about Espoo. I wanted to see Lake Bodom. Well, Espoo is nearby Helsinki. It's pretty easy to visit if you're visiting Helsinki anyway. What else? Do you feel like true Finnish black metal are slowly getting killed by leftists? No, I don't think that's really happening. Petri Viinikainen saying Turku is an asshole of Finland. Just kidding. I would like to visit there again. Well, that's true. But I want to give you some advice. That statement is actually original by a Russian propaganda. Back in the days when Russians wanted to make the capital from Turku closer to their borders, that is Russian border, Helsinki. So the asshole of Finland comment already comes from Russian propaganda. Now you know it. Yes, and Shepkin asked, do I also think that modern black metal has no little roots in original BAM? I think modern black metal definitely has its roots in original black metal. Obviously, that more and more generations go by, those roots become thinner. But yeah, I still think there's a lot of connection between new school of black metal and the old school of black metal. I hope that answers that question. But yeah, I think definitely there is still some dots connecting the dots kind of thing happening between these two. Do I use Blackwall? I don't. Do I like Possessed? I actually reviewed some Possessed in the past for the channel. I think old Possessed is pretty cool, and the new one is also pretty cool. What else? I've actually asked Batushka if I could interview them, but I never got the reply. So I don't know. I would definitely interview both parties of Batushka if that was possible. And I would definitely interview Shephiros if that was possible. Warsaw Night Drive. I will hit you up if I'm coming to Poland. Please email or Facebook message me so I can get the details, because Poland is the most likely place I would go to nowadays for a weekend trip. Atanato Cosmiki is asking my favorite retrowave dark synth project. I think Robert Parker is currently my favorite synthwave project at the moment. And Van Nocturne, glad you liked Sami Hynninen interview. It was nice to do. Would I interview Cyanide? Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm definitely up for all kind of metal band interviews. Definitely. Van Nocturne is asking, after pandemic works, would I visit New York? Definitely. I've been to New York 3 times and I fucking love the city. I would definitely want to go back to New York City. I gotta say, I don't know Sami folk metal. I wish I knew, but I don't. Yeah, Mark 13, it's boomer sleep time because I have a kid waking up around 8 o'clock in the morning. That's when I want to get my 8 hours of sleep time, because it's also my deadlift day tomorrow. So I kind of need my 8 hours of sleep. What else? Yes, Russia was in control of Finland roughly 100 years ago, and that's where the propaganda stuff is stemming from. Kurval is asking me, like, thoughts on Steelfest cancellation. Well, Steelfest is not being cancelled. More information will be told you later on about it. What else? Oh yeah, that is good point that Led Zeppelin was also inspired by Tolkien. Iran, really, really nice to have Iran people following Rauta. That's awesome. But I have bad news for you, Beshenitar. I'm actually going to bed in a minute or so, but really cool to see Iran people watching Rauta. Cool. And I would like to definitely visit Philly. I've never been to Philadelphia, but I would like to visit it. I've only, you know, gone past Philadelphia on my way to Washington from New York. Egyptian people too. Wow, that is really great. That is really truly great. I hope that I could one day travel to Iran and Egypt. The closest I've been to those places is Dubai, and I know that it's not exactly, you know, almost right there. So really, really cool to see Egyptian and Iranese people here. Really, really nice. But now, guys, I really have to go. Next stream would be happening late November or early December. And I don't know if you like it, but I could try out that sauna stream. It would be something different. I don't know if it would make fucking sense, but we could give it a go. Once again, thank you, people, for being part of the stream. I'm having my last sips of some bubbly water here and wishing you all good night. And what can I say? Check out tomorrow's video. I have something to tell you about older bands, and also check out today's interview with Malignment. It's an interesting Finnish black metal band that got their first album out in a few weeks ago. That is. So check it out. I hope you will learn about this band. It's a really, really interesting band with some fresh ideas. So that's it, basically. People, thank you for these 2 hours. I was going to do only 1 hour, but you kept me busy with your questions and comments. So take care. People in United States, UK, Ireland, Iran, Egypt, wherever you are, have a good night and listen to some good shit. Rauta signing off.